2022, as it appears the Indiana Fever may be making a move for another power forward. We have been waiting to see what's going to be the next domino to fall for the Indiana Fever, and this was just posted. Take a look. We have it right there.
Indiana's management just dropped a bombshell that should strike fear into the heart of every rival across the league. And the signal they are broadcasting is cold and uncompromising. The season of hunting Caitlin Clark has officially reached its end. Lay a hand on her or attempt a cheap shot against this generational icon, and you'll face the ultimate enforcer. The Fever are reportedly signing veteran powerhouse Myisha Hines-Allen, a 6'2" champion and elite all-league selection. She is a competitor who has long been respected and dreaded on the hardwood. For nearly 10 years, she has reigned as one of the most punishing physical presences in professional basketball. Pair her alongside Sophie Cunningham, a woman known for her fierce loyalty and grit. This is the athlete who physically shielded her floor general on live television. Indiana is no longer a typical squad. They have become a fortified stronghold, a literal shield for the most iconic player in the history of the sport. Nobody touches Caitlin Clark this season. Not a chance. You must get through two ruthless guardians who would gladly accept an early trip to the locker room. They would choose a suspension and heavy fines over letting their franchise superstar take another disrespectful hit. This single move shifts the balance of power and psychological tension for the 2026 season. Welcome back to WNBA Pro. Take a seat and listen closely, because this specific acquisition might just secure a championship parade for Indianapolis. Let us analyze this. It is not just about star power, it is about strategic assets. This is about finding the perfect fits. Despite a quiet previous season, Myisha Hines-Allen injects pure, unadulterated toughness. There will be no intimidation. No one is going to push her around. This team needed a security squad. We all saw the bounty placed on Caitlin Clark's head. She was the most harassed player in the league for 2 straight years. Myisha Hines-Allen is the solution. Let me explain exactly who Myisha Hines-Allen is for those who have not been tracking her journey closely. Her professional basketball history is formidable. Washington drafted Hines-Allen in the 2nd round back in 2018. By her 2nd year, she played a vital role in securing the 2019 World Championship. That victory marked the very first title in that franchise's history. And Hines-Allen was not just watching from the sidelines. She was a major engine for that success. She provided the muscle, the tenacity, and the relentless drive that winners require. She embraced the grueling, unglamorous work that every championship roster requires to survive a deep playoff run. In 2020, she took the league by storm, earning 2nd-team All-League honors with elite statistical production. She stood as one of the most efficient and intimidating forwards in the game. She could finish through contact, sink 35% of her threes, and dominate the boards while playmaking. She orchestrated the floor from the post while locking down multiple positions on the defensive end. For 3 consecutive seasons, she served as the heartbeat of the Washington roster. Following her long stint there, she moved to the Minnesota Lynx during the 2024 trade window. That organization is defined by Coach Cheryl Reeves' philosophy of defensive pressure and physical toughness. Hines-Allen integrated perfectly. She was forged in the most intense environments the league offers. Most recently, she suited up for the Dallas Wings during the 2025 campaign. In Dallas, she demonstrated that her skill set is still sharp and her energy remains high. She averaged 7.6 points and 6 rebounds while setting a personal best in assists per game. She earned 20 starts within a crowded, highly talented frontcourt rotation. Her versatility and strength provided the exact spark needed to raise a team's physical baseline. Now, she enters the market as a free agent with total control over her next chapter. Amber Cox and the Fever leadership moved quickly to claim her for their roster. This allows them to build a wall around Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston as they approach their major contracts. Myisha Hines-Allen is an exceptional addition who brings championship-caliber depth to the squad. I'm absolutely thrilled with this acquisition. Myisha Hines-Allen is going to inject some serious muscle and grit into this roster. Let's be real, she's a total beast on the court. We need that fire because way too many people think they can just... Before I break down how she makes the Fever a total nightmare for opponents, let's look at the genius strategy behind this front office move. This is a specific angle that the mainstream sports analysts are completely overlooking right now. The Fever didn't just strike out on a couple of free agents during this offseason. They watched their defensive anchor, Natasha Howard, head to Dallas on a massive 3-year max contract. That departure left a massive, gaping hole right in the heart of their interior defense. While snagging Monique Billings was a brilliant way to recover some minutes and boost their offensive versatility, the team was still staring at a cavernous, undeniable void in their front court rotation. They were starving for a forward who plays with a brutal, unapologetic physicality and can lock down elite centers in the paint. They needed someone to space the floor and give Stephanie White some heavy-duty tactical weapons for every single matchup. Myisha Hines-Allen doesn't just meet those requirements. She dominates every single one of them. Standing 6'2" with an incredible reach, she can switch effortlessly between playing the power forward and the center positions. She hits 35% from downtown career-wide. This means if the defense tries to swarm Caitlin Clark, Hines-Allen will absolutely make them pay from long distance. Grabbing 6 boards a game last year, she provides a relentless, hungry presence on both ends of the glass. She put up a career-best 2.9 assists, making her a dangerous playmaker when the defense collapses on Clark, always pulls double teams. She brings an element that no spreadsheet or analytics report could ever truly capture: pure, unadulterated nastiness. It's a concentrated, ruthless edge that forces every opponent to rethink their game plan from the very first whistle. Hines-Allen isn't the type of player who simply survives physical contact on the court. She's the one who starts it, setting bone-crushing screens that send defenders flying straight toward the front row. Music. Her intensity on the boards makes opposing forwards reconsider even jumping. No more overpaying for average talent, right? Their long-term strategy focuses on Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and now Lexi Hull on a fresh multi-year extension. Keeping the core together is the goal, including Monique Billings. Beyond that, they aren't locking themselves into bad deals. I think that's brilliant because, at the end of the day, look at New York. They've basically assembled the Avengers. You can stay relevant and keep a fighting chance while building a future around Clark and Boston. Her low-post defense is a brick wall. Crucially, though, when the game gets ugly and physical, when opponents try to rattle the Fever's stars and test their resolve, trying to bully the younger players, Myisha Hines-Allen is the one. She gets right in their faces and makes it clear that it's not happening. That is the exact culture the Indiana Fever have been cultivating all through the offseason. They aren't just looking for high-scoring highlights, they are building a squad with real bite. A roster that actually has teeth. A lineup that won't fold or get intimidated when the away crowd gets loud and nasty. A squad that will protect their franchise star at any cost. The Fever have been tracking Hines-Allen for ages. This wasn't some last-minute panic. This is a strategic partnership that has been developing behind the scenes for months. During the 2025 season, Kevin Pelton at ESPN actually suggested a trade to move Hines-Allen to Indiana. The fit was perfect then, but Dallas wasn't ready to let her go. However, the entire landscape has changed. Hines-Allen is now an unrestricted free agent. No messy trades or complicated negotiations are required. Not a single valuable draft pick had to be surrendered. It just took a vision of why Indianapolis is the perfect home for her to chase her next championship ring. Imagine how effortless that sales pitch feels in today's market. Move to Indiana and team up with Caitlin Clark, the premier floor general who will serve up wide-open, clean looks for you every single night. Share the spotlight with elite stars like Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and the fierce Sophie Cunningham. Play your homestands in front of 18,000 roaring, die-hard fans who will treat you like absolute royalty. Join a squad that was just 5 minutes shy of the finals last season and stands as the heavy favorite to seize the crown this year. And pull in the biggest paycheck of your career under the fresh collective bargaining agreement. That offer practically signs itself. Securing a rock-solid powerhouse home with a legitimate title contender is the perfect move for this stage of her legendary journey. But let's get real. This transcends the game of basketball now. I'm totally down with adding Myisha Hines-Allen to this supporting cast. Because at the end of the day, we need pure, unadulterated grit. We need toughness, period. We all know Sophie Cunningham isn't backing down from anyone or anything. We watched Lexi Hull battle through 2 black eyes, but we need someone who steps in when things get dirty, and Myisha Hines-Allen is that warrior. She is the type to walk into the fire ready for a scrap, and that is exactly what this team is missing. Every championship roster needs a couple of heavy hitters. I know people love to talk about locker room vibes and chemistry. You want to know what actually builds brotherhood? Knowing for a fact that your teammate has your back when it gets ugly. When you know justice is coming, if someone crosses the line, that is how you win the psychological war. Close your eyes and visualize the Fever's Enforcer squad with Myisha Hines-Allen officially patrolling the floor. You've already got the firecracker herself, Sophie Cunningham. The woman who became a hometown legend in Indy, the most adored gritty player in the league for being Caitlin Clark's personal bodyguard, Cunningham is your designated enforcer out on the perimeter. She shuts down elite wings and shooters with her 6'1" frame and world-class athleticism. She is pure steel and completely indifferent to whatever fines the league office might throw her way. Now, enter Myisha Hines-Allen, your powerhouse enforcer for the interior. She locks down the paint like a nightclub bouncer having a terrible day, dictating the physical terms inside the key. She outmuscles the league's giants and protects the rim with a terrifying level of ferocity. She makes every guard rethink their life choices before they even dream of driving into her lane. Together, Cunningham and Hines-Allen forge a bulletproof shield around Caitlin Clark that blankets every square inch of the hardwood. If a rival tries to bully Clark on the wing, Cunningham is right there to knock them off their axis. And if they try to headhunt Clark as she drives to the hoop, Hines-Allen is lurking in the shadows to deliver a hard, clean message-sending blow. Try to rough up Caitlin away from the ball, and one of these two will hunt you down with a bone-crushing screen on the next play. Go for a cheap shot or a late hit, and you will find both of them closing in on you at once. The rest of the league has spent 2 straight years putting a bullseye on Caitlin Clark's back. They have bumped her, bruised her, and hammered her every time she tried to run the floor. They have poked eyes and shoved her to the dirt while the Fever's front office watched, planned, and waited. They were quietly and ruthlessly building a lethal counteroffensive. First, they recruited Cunningham for the spark. Now, they have brought in Hines-Allen for the heavy artillery. The message to the competition is etched in stone and shouted from the rooftops. The days of targeting Caitlin Clark without facing a world of pain are gone permanently. I have watched her every game. Usually, she is battling through foul trouble, but that is just the reality of the game. We desperately need elite backup minutes in the middle, and I am not looking to lean solely on Damiris Dantas. That is why I absolutely love this move for Myisha Hines-Allen if Indiana pulls the trigger. It is a beautiful addition. This would be a masterstroke for their roster. Still, I am hungry for one more piece, someone like Ray Burrell. I am also fully on board with Rebecca Allen joining because she can dominate at both forward spots and stretch the floor. There is still more work to be done, but here is the brilliant basketball payoff to this entire psychological strategy. When Caitlin Clark feels untouchable and safe on that court, something incredible happens. Her play reaches peak. When she feels her squad has her back without question. Knowing she won't be targeted with cheap shots allows her to take much bolder risks on the offensive end, is greater than music. is greater than. She attacks the basket with relentless speed while hovering in midair to whip out those incredible logic-defying passes. She carves through the lane with total poise instead of second-guessing. Studying last year's footage reveals her most tentative moments occurred specifically against teams that tried to beat her into submission. She would opt for deep perimeter shots, music, rather than charging directly into the heart of the defense. She would dump the ball off early instead of freezing defenders, subconsciously trying to avoid any heavy physical contact. Music, because she didn't believe her teammates had the raw strength to shield her from the constant abuse. With Cunningham and Hines-Allen acting as elite security, all of that doubt just completely and totally vanishes. Clark can finally play with zero restraint, showing the world exactly what she is capable of: music. Every single night. And a liberated Clark is easily the most frightening, nightmare-inducing music. Unstoppable offensive force in women's hoops history. She posted 16.5 music points and 8.8 dimes every game while being constantly roughed up by opponents. Now imagine those stats across a grueling 82-game season with two professional enforcers, music, ensuring that nobody touches her without paying a massive and immediate price for the mistake. This signing is fundamentally about freedom. It's not simply about safety, it's about granting her total offensive liberation. Myisha Hines-Allen doesn't just protect her, she sets the young superstar free. She's unlocking a final form of this player that the league is simply not prepared to handle. Let me break down the full Indiana roster right now because it is absolutely loaded and should terrify every other general manager in the league. Running the point is the superstar herself, music, the heart of the team. At guard, Mitchell, the cold-blooded scoring specialist. On the wing, Cunningham, the enforcer. Down in the post, Aaliyah Boston serves as the elite anchor. Defensively, Lexi Hull is a specialist. You also have Billings, the versatile glue player. Hines-Allen provides that interior muscle, with Ty Harris offering elite backup point guard depth. Dantas brings veteran poise, and Timpson is a rising post talent, giving them 10 rock-solid rotational players. 3 top-tier stars, 2 specific interior bruisers, a champion and a national veteran, all with elite floor spacing. The interior lineup went from being a massive music liability into a powerhouse in just 7 days of free agency. This bruising music pair gives Indiana a physical edge that no other squad in the league can realistically match. A constant, menacing, shadow-like physical presence warning rivals from the opening jump until the final horn. Try anything dirty, and you will deal with the heavy fallout immediately. The era of being helpless is over, Indiana. The cavalry has arrived, and the 2026 season will show what happens when you build a music massive wall around the greatest athlete in the sport and dare the entire league to find a way to break music through it. Hands off our superstar. Period. That wraps up this massive deep dive on the channel. If this move has you excited, smash that like button now to share this with every fan on YouTube. Post your wildest takes in the comments below. Is greater than music. Is greater than. Does this reinforced, gritty roster have enough juice to actually win the championship this season? Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to follow every part of this historic offseason. I'll catch everyone later for the draft analysis. Stay easy.